Hi, this is Lorraine, and I've been guided to do another video. If you'll give me a second to clear, center, and balance my energy, we'll get started. Okay. I've been guided to discuss 3 different areas again. The first one is about timelines. The second one is, where does the divine consciousness reside? It was a question that I asked, and I received visions to help me understand that. And then tower moments as a collective, the tower moments. What are the implications of that? So I'm going to start with timelines. And this is something that came to me a while ago. Every time I heard somebody talk about timelines and we're shifting timelines, I always had this vision of me driving down the highway and then shifting lanes, right? Shifting lanes. And we don't shift timelines like we shift lanes in a car. And that was the clear message that came through. That was like, it was very uncomfortable. I don't want to say I heard no or anything like that, but when I had that vision, it was very uncomfortable in my body. And then what came through recently, though, in the last couple weeks, was the use of vernacular within the esoteric community, specifically. As we expand, it's really important to understand what this idea of timelines is. And the use of the word timeline and the way it's being used is inaccurate. What I was shown, and this was actually demonstrated to me when I was criticizing myself for not being focused in my meditations. And so my mind would be wandering, and I felt like I was failing. And I was just opening up spiritually, and I was very committed to opening up. And I felt like every time my mind would wander, I was being disrespectful to all the people who helped me on my path in my life, but then also to these profound energies, which I called angels and guides at that time, who were coming in and really supporting me and really trying to help me. And then I realized that my mind wasn't wandering, that these visions I was having were possible realities. This is very important when we talk about timelines, or this idea of timelines. Every thought I was having were things, experiences that I could manifest into my reality. Okay? It wasn't my mind wandering. And when I had that epiphany, I had very profound spiritual experience right after that. It was a very deep, profound experience, because I was opening up and accepting truths, right? Accepting these truths. And nobody was telling me. I was allowing that energy to come through and into me and guide me. Okay? So let's get back to timelines. That epiphany that I had in 2016 was the foundation for helping me understand this idea of timelines. And I didn't really have any visions when this information came in. It was just like claircognizance and clairsentience. I just knew it, and I could feel it in my body. And I reconciled that understanding of these visions I was having while I was meditating, that I could manifest that into reality with this idea of timelines. So, and this is what I was guided to say or share. If I'm going to visit my family, we're all down the west coast of the United States. I could either drive, fly, or take the train, right? Once I decide I'm gonna fly, I'm going to stay in a hotel for a few days, then I'll stay with my brother a couple days. We will do this and do that, and we will go to some old stomping grounds. We will go to the city. You know, we'll have a whole plan, right? So these ideas that I'm creating are possible realities that I'm manifesting, okay, or intending to manifest. So at some point I buy my ticket, at some point I go to the airport, at some point I get on a plane, I fly to California. Maybe something happens with my hotel and I have to end up staying with my brother for the whole week, right? I have a rent-a-car for a few days, and then all of a sudden the rent-a-car falls through, so I'm driving one of my brother's cars. You know, all these things, they're possible things that can happen, and there are things that truly manifest, okay? Even though I didn't take the train to California, I still thought about it. And it still sits in my head. I could be, what if I would have taken the train? I wonder if that would have been easier and I wouldn't have had all those issues at the airport, right? When, even though I was supposed to get a rent-a-car and it fell through, I ended up taking my brother's car. You know, wow, that was so much better. It saved me money. But, you know, it was an inconvenience for my brother. Maybe it would have been better for me to take the rent-a-car, right? Maybe it would have been better if I took a different rent-a-car or used a different agency. All these thoughts, possible realities, are running around in my head, even though they didn't manifest. They are still in my mind, okay? The drive to the airport, the flight, staying with my brother, driving his car, all those things manifested, okay? Those are the reality. That is the reality that I experienced going to visit my brother. All the other possible realities that didn't manifest, although they didn't manifest, they still are in my head. And I could even still consider other possibilities, right? That is what has been shown to me from my meditations or my interactions with the divine consciousness. This divine consciousness, this reality that we're living in, is a possible reality. My physical being here on this couch recording this video is a manifestation of the divine consciousness, and also my consciousness, okay? But there are a lot of other things I considered other than doing this right now. So those are all mere possibilities. So the divine consciousness, as I said in that last video that I just did, as it's considering all the things it can possibly be, those possibilities are reflected on the inside of that egg. Okay, I use the egg metaphor. So if I'm the divine consciousness sitting inside this egg, considering all the things I could possibly be, all those possibilities are reflected on the inside of the egg. Once I allow those things to manifest, that egg has opened and those possible realities physically manifest into our universe, right? But all the possible realities that were considered are still existing within the divine consciousness. All the possible realities that were considered by the divine consciousness still exist within this reality. That's what people are calling timelines, different timelines. Okay, those possible realities. But it's important to understand or to begin to reconcile that although we have free will and choices that we make, for example, I chose to make this video right now, Saturday night, and I also considered doing it tomorrow. I considered doing it earlier today. I considered doing it yesterday on Friday, but I didn't. I actually did it today. So I was able to make that choice, right, to do the video today. But all those possible realities still exist within the divine consciousness. So I'm allowed to make these choices, right? You're allowed to make choices. But all the other possible choices I could have made still reside within the divine consciousness. The divine consciousness carries all these possible realities within it because we are divine. We are the divine consciousness. We are a piece of it, but we're also part of all of it. So, that being said, the divine consciousness also has a say in what manifests in this universe. Just like I have a say in what manifests in this universe, the divine consciousness has a say in what manifests in this universe. And when I watch different shows, and I don't watch a lot of stuff anymore, but when I used to watch different shows and different scientists talk about this field of energy that is a consciousness, there's always this disconnect that makes it seem like it is just an existence that allows things to happen and has no say, right? And that is incorrect. So just the same, because I am a piece of this divine consciousness, just as I have a say in what happens in my future, it has a say in what manifests into this universe. So this discussion on timelines and possible realities is a perfect example of spiritual awakening. So what I'm telling you now and what I know about this idea of possible realities and how it physically manifests within this universe and in the divine consciousness, I guarantee you 10 years from now, it's going to be different. How I understand this truth is going to be different. But the most important message, one of the most important messages that comes through to me is opening yourself up to alternate truths. I feel like right now we are so deeply steeped in this idea of timelines, and like we can shift timelines like lanes on the highway, that we don't understand the depth and breadth and the profound nature of the reality that we are creating. Okay, especially as we move to this 5D level of consciousness. It's so important to release the paradigms, release the structures, release the ideas, open ourselves up to new ideas, new concepts, new belief systems, right? Who we are. Who are we? What are we here to do? Opening ourselves up to these possible truths and allowing that information to come in and consider it. What does this mean for me? How do I utilize this? How does this help me grow? How does this help me to understand myself better? How does this help me understand my role in this world better, on this world, in this universe? That is really, I feel the root of this discussion was that this divine consciousness wants us all to consider the possibilities, not just grab onto an idea and say, hey, that sounds good. I can change my reality by shifting timelines. If I don't like where I'm going, I can just shift a timeline. That is underestimating your gift of manifestation. That is truly underestimating your gift of manifestation. We all have that gift. We all have that gift. Okay? It's not just any one person's gift, but the more we open up and allow the energy to flow through us, maintain that clear, centered, and balanced energy so that we know that that energy coming into and through us is for our highest good, and we can discern that, we start to tap into who we are, what we are meant to do, and what gifts have been provided for us or to us to achieve those goals. When we open up and when we allow that energy to move through us, And when we share unconditional love with one another, tolerance, and we don't resist any energy coming towards us, so aggressiveness. So when having a lot of childhood trauma and being very defensive at a young age, when someone would come at me aggressively, I'd want to come back at them. But violence begets violence. So when we allow people to be who they are, whether it's loving and kind or verbally abusive and aggressive, and just allow that energy to just flow around us and not come into us, when we are able to master the emotional body so we don't allow people to trigger us, and we allow that flow to happen, and we don't have any friction in our body or in our mind, that is our most powerful state of manifestation. When we are existing open to that flow of divine energy that's moving through us, that unconditional love that is divinity, when we open ourselves up that way, we are in our most, I'm going to say, powerful gift or place of manifestation. We can manifest the most beautiful, beautiful things, and that has nothing to do with timelines. That has nothing to do with timelines. That has to do with mastering the emotional body. That has to do with opening ourselves up to divine guidance, to the divine consciousness, to come through us, come into us, open our hearts, open our souls, open our mind to all the possible things that we can be, and then allow that to manifest. But that comes from mastering the emotional body and not allowing all the unbalanced energy around us to shift our energy out of center. And this is part of our discipline. We're not meant to be perfect. We're never going to sit, well, not at this level of consciousness. We're not going to be sitting directly in the middle forever, right? We will be shifting and moving in and out, but the mastery comes from acknowledging that you've been shifted out of center and putting yourself back into center, moving yourself back into center. And as we grow and we move through these different levels of consciousness, eventually we will be at a perpetual state of balance. But we're moving out of this 3D level of separation, this idea of separation, believing that we're separate, and we're moving towards unity. Okay, and as we do that, it involves mastering the emotional body, releasing all the trauma, all the unbalanced energy that's brought us to this place, and moving forward. Okay, so timelines are not what is shared with us. I feel that so deeply in my body. I feel that so passionately. Timelines don't exist. This whole reality, this whole universe is a manifestation, either a physical manifestation of the desires of the divine consciousness, or all the possible realities that it has considered as it manifested this universe. Okay? The same thing for us. My reality, me sitting in this living room recording this video, is a physical manifestation of my consciousness, of what I have desired to do in this moment. And all the other possible realities that I considered are just kind of floating around in the ether, but they still exist. Okay? All right. So I think I'm going to go to the second thing. The second thing was, where does the divine consciousness reside? And so I was sitting and I was thinking about that, and what came to mind is I saw this infinity symbol. And I was looking at it there. It's right here. I drew it, and then all of a sudden it just turned on its side like this. So it was up and down. So I drew this right here. And then it turned into a Fibonacci spiral. So that infinity symbol right here turned into this, this Fibonacci spiral, as above, so below, was what comes in also. And then it was emphasizing this point here in the middle. And I'll try to like find some visuals, because I'm a very visual person, that might help demonstrate this better. But it accentuated that 0 point, which is in the middle, right? And so I'm watching this infinity symbol. It turns sideways, or it goes from this to this, and then it turns into these two Fibonacci spirals that meet in the middle. And then I'm seeing that energy, there's a particle of energy right between those two Fibonacci spirals that's vibrating. And I remember every now and then I'll start reading about physics, and I was reading about how 0 point, I just do these deep dives, and I can't remember all the information, but certain things stick with me. I remember reading that particle of energy, can never stop vibrating. There's the slowest point that particle of energy can vibrate at is called 0 point. If that particle of energy stops vibrating, then the whole of the universe ceases to exist. Okay? And so I'm thinking to myself, what does that mean? Because the divine consciousness, I know everybody considers God to be this field of energy, this divine consciousness to be this field of energy, right? And I remember Michio Kaku did a video on it, but he explained the existence of God as this field of energy, right? And it was fascinating. But I remember it was a very interesting discussion. It was there in, I think, 2018. I think after 2019 or 2020 is when it was taken down. But anyway, I'm thinking all these things. I'm here remembering that discussion about the field of energy, and I'm wondering, where does this consciousness exist? I got very strong messages that the universe isn't only a product of the divine consciousness, but it is the divine consciousness, right? And then when I have this vision here, it kind of it separated divinity, the source, the creator of all things, from the universe. And so I started to get a little confused. I was confused. And so what was shown to me was that within this space here, between these two, and I'll do a picture-in-picture, between this, in this 0 point, is where the source of creation exists. So it's not within this reality. Between that 0 point, between this Fibonacci spiral on the top and between this Fibonacci spiral on the bottom, it's a void. There's a void. Okay? When that, how do I say this? It was so clear. This also, the thing about language is it's very difficult. This information comes in and it's so clear and I understand it completely, but actually trying to verbalize it in a way that people can understand can be very challenging. There is a space at this point of creation. That 0 point is the point of creation. That is where the divine consciousness exists. I also had visions of black holes. So I'd see this black hole, and we don't know what's on the other side of a black hole, right? We can't, it's the force of gravity is so great, anything that goes in can be crushed by it, right? And I almost feel like that black hole is 0 point. And once you go into that black hole, the particles of energy stop vibrating and you enter the void. So I feel like in some sense that this Fibonacci spiral, the opening, is a black hole. The other vision that came in to help me understand this was that point, the divine consciousness inside that egg, manifesting all the possible realities onto the wall of that egg, right? Once that egg opens up, those possible realities begin to manifest as the universe, right? Those possible realities are not the divine consciousness. The divine consciousness is reflecting its thoughts, its desires onto the inside of that egg, and then those things manifest. So the creator of those thoughts, those ideas, those realities is not one and the same as those realities. It's just a possibility, right? Those images on the inside of those eggs are just mere possibilities. But the consciousness that is manifesting them is just within the egg. And it's not even, I want to say energy, it's not energy, because it's something that is not tangible, and it's beyond our ability to understand at this level of consciousness. I think to wholly and fully understand divinity, unity, we have to be unity. We have to be existing in that state. And I truly believe that. But this energy is not the universe that it manifested. But it does have an influence over this universe because it is creating the flow of energy through its thoughts, through its intentions, right? That last video I talked about force, right? Through intentions, we create force through intentions, right? As we work towards manifesting. So the divine consciousness, even though it does not reside within this universe, it resides outside the universe at that, not even at 0 point, it's at the point in between 0 point. Okay, as above, so below. It's in between those two places. Because 0 point is happening, okay, I can't go into it any further. I'm going to make it too convoluted. But it resides in that open space. And through its intentions, it begins to manifest reality. And it influences our current reality. It influences our universe through its thoughts, through its intentions, and through its unconditional love for us. Because again, at the root, divinity, the source, the creator of all things, defines itself as unconditional love. Okay? And then I think I've been talking a lot, which I'm trying not to do. So the third thing is tower moments. And I was just pulling some cards for myself, and then I started getting a lot of information about tower moments and tower moments that we are having as a collective. And I feel pretty tired. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel very tired with all the dense energy. There's a lot of dense energy around us, and I work very hard to keep myself centered and keep myself clear, but that just overall the energy around us is very dense. And so I'm feeling like we're going through a lot of tower moments, and and I think that's probably the consensus. A lot of people feel that way, but the message that came through is we are releasing or destroying these old structures, these old paradigms that no longer serve us, and we're letting them go. But as those structures, paradigms, are released or destroyed, we are starting or building new contracts. There are new contracts being written. Okay, and the best example I can give is people always talk about soul contracts. I think contract, again, we're going with vernacular. I think it has certain definitions that I don't feel are truly accurate. I feel like in our existence in this universe, we are, each of us, hope to achieve a certain thing. And we have agreed to do certain things to get us to this point of transcendence. And at transcendence, we've ended this huge cycle. This was a really big cycle that we're ending right now. We are releasing and letting go of all the things that we went through and that that brought us to this point. The positive and the negative. We are releasing the energy related to that keeps us out of center. And then we are moving to a new cycle. So we're taking these experiences with us to an extent because it helped us come to these experiences helped us come to a place of understanding of who we are and what we're meant to do, right? And we needed to get to this place to go to the next cycle. But we have to release most of that. We will be releasing all of that and moving to this next cycle and starting a new level of lessons to learn, to understand who we are and what we're meant to be on this world, in this lifetime, in this universe. Because we all have a plan of what we were meant to do, and through this whole process of transcendence and ascension and moving back to unity. Okay, so as we start to release all this stuff that's happening, and it may feel like a lot of tower moments that are really difficult for us to go through, it's to open up the new doors for the new experiences that we are meant to have that help us grow and draw us closer to unity. Okay? I definitely think that's it. Okay, so thank you.